Hi guys, and welcome to the Rainbow Six Replays YouTube channel. Today we want to present the video highlights of the match between Furia Esports and Faze Clan during the Brazil League 2024 Stage 2. Don't forget to subscribe and put a like. Enjoy.
Andy was looking for that vertical kill that we spoke about a couple of maps ago about good use of the Deimos when you've got the live track on someone, and Herds has finally been sniffed out.
It's been Herds who's been dying first for Furia in so many of these matches, Des, and it is a really worrying sign because if he can stay alive, he can go toe-to-toe with the best players in the world. I don't know if it's hubris, overconfidence. You mentioned Doki discussing how you kind of lose motivation after you win it all. There's something that I've talked to Troy an awful lot about, and he's noticed on every single team he's played on that there is a big challenge in staying motivated. JV92, the first kill so far for his team. Faze Clan in the driver's seat with just a little over 30 seconds to go. There's a Nitro Cell to go out. Nade takes out Cyber. JV92 and Nade are the last two remaining, and JV92 from this spot is so powerful. Vidiking is just a second behind with only 20 seconds left. JV92's on low HP. Nade at full HP. He can try to just ride this one off. The ring around the rosy is not working out right now for Vidiking, who's losing out on time. Reminder that he has the diffuser. He will attempt to get it down, but the two remaining players from Furia will likely collapse on him. This was a great start to the round for Faze Clan. It will not end well for them, as a prolonged series of engagements goes in favor of Furia.
Yeah, I mean, Faze started out in a 5v3. Let's not forget as well. They got the two. What are we doing, guys? Okay, brilliant. Cheers, JB. Like Faze were going to get a really comfortable position and get good map control. It was like just trying to walk through, I don't know, through a woods or something, and just constantly walking into stinging nettles. There was always something to trip them up when they thought they had control. Like here, he didn't know that the player had swung out. Admittedly, he probably could have done better with that gunfight in itself, but Furia just knew when to turn the heat on. It felt in these gunfights and go a little bit aggressive. Yes, it was a risk. They almost lost a couple of those fights out, but overall, I think Faze started out really good there. That's actually a really controversial opinion. One of my favorite burgers from McDonald's. I will say this. The more beers I drink, the more I like filet of fishes. There's a very weird correlation there. I love it. Here we go on the push through, though. Immediately they're in. Vidiking falling down as well. Herds at least balancing things out. They almost get the trade back, but not quite. As said, Furia have started moving quite aggressively here and got at least two. But Faze are right back in their face, balancing it out. Souls is starting out with thunder and fire in his belly. Down for a 2v1. Herds, who was picked up as the entry in the previous round, he's on 30 HP. A single bullet might be enough, but he's only got to hit one bullet himself. He's only got to find the head, and he'll have those kills against Faze Clan, because if they don't, the likelihood of them making playoffs drops off a cliff. Completely. And I think at this point, we just need to let BDS win an SI, just so they stop being this really like top two team that everyone's afraid of. Let them win an SI, and they'll crumble. We've seen it time and time again. And lots of teams then want to use her in the execute, which is much later in the round. I think if she's really going to get nerfed, it needs to be heavier than just giving her two charges that she uses really at the time the charge is already enabled. It's very rare you see her pop a call in the first, say, 15 seconds or so. So I don't like the nerf. I think it's, well, air quotes nerf. I don't particularly like it, full stop. That's fine. Still quite oppressive and still rocking a relatively high pick rate. And despite all of this and these new synths ops, double lost what it once had. Value gone. So bad. That's good, right? I've got more that I can share with you in a minute. Well, with the way that these rounds have been paced out, action can break out at any moment. So I would say maybe hold off just a tiny bit. Souls has already died. Vidiking, by the way, is almost dead. So it's Handy. Ouch. There goes Cyber. I'll give them full credit. I thought after that first round, Faze would really ramp into the next few rounds and just start running them over with the team play they were showing. But Furia, I think, changing the pace of rounds where sometimes they're playing really defensive and letting Faze take parts of the map. And then others, like here, JV just going, that is ridiculous. Fair play, Kate. That's all you're really doing. You're just making me want. Not for a McDouble. Maybe it's not real food. McDonald's is not real food. I mean, it's real food, but it's not real food. If you know what I mean. Easy. You know what I'm saying? In fact, no, my third line of this other one is my favorite. Okay. One cheese slice so lone, two patties feel overthrown. Where's the second? A couple garlic cloves, let it heat up. And then as it's heating, add 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sea salt, and then put the red onions in once it is fully heated. Take it off the heat and let it sit for 2 hours. Nice shot by Nade, by the way.
And everybody's going to start dying. What did I say about the pacing of this round, Des? How much time is left and how many people are left?
It's come down to 3 being left now with half the round still to go. This is what I mean, though. The spring of aggression from Furia, 3 kills in half a second, maybe. They just know when to turn it on. And they're letting Faze get comfortable for the most part is the funniest part. Like, early in the round, 2 Faze players were bearing down to Nade, who was inside a terrace, and he really had to... Scraper.
All right, let's do a little bit of chat interaction here. Chat, if you want the Fluxers and the Dragons, if you thought that was the better match, if you thought the McDouble of Brazil today was the better match, I want you to type 1 in chat. If you think that Furia versus Faze Clan is more akin to fine dining, as I mentioned, standards in Europe actually cares about people, so they make it harder for, you know, companies to feed people garbage.
Absolutely. That is a great C4.
That's very nice. JV92 starting things off so well, as he has done time and time again.
He's in this game.
He's dialed in, Des.
Yes, something like that. Herds a little bit less.
Herds is not.
Play with 2. Like, Faze have got this west side of the map. They've got Shrine. They don't feel like they fully have Terrace, although arguably they should if they've got the control of Dragon. Still 2 players bearing down on it for the side of Furia makes this a little bit tentative for them. They're going to try and force Dragon. They've already lost Cyber. That is not the good start they're looking for. And they lose the reverse here as well. Oh, KZ has deleted them. Flicks from 1 onto display window. Gets the 2nd kill. That's another solid round coming out of Furia. And they are looking really hard to break down.
Top frag in the lobby. He might have found a way on in. He's not far removed from KZ. As they're looking to sweep through this portion of the map, they've got to clear it out before they can translate over towards Office. Fellapox eliminates Handy, and we're back into a 4v4 for a second before Vidaking gives the advantage back to Faze.
I was going to say they really want to cut off the retreat here. The best thing about Skyscraper top floor is there's this front line that moves left to right, depending on what site that you're on, and you can really easily slice this map in half. But Faze are giving them absolutely nothing. Where Furia have tried to isolate these 2 or 3 players, corral them in them, pick them off one at a time. Faze have done to Furia exactly what Furia did.
Position in a very similar part of the map just a couple rounds ago. They were able to make it work. Faze Clan, whenever they have the upper hand against Furia, must really sweat. You get flashbacks to Sao Paulo. What little remained of KDS is now gone, but there will be no salvation for Furia as Souls tears through Fellapox. Summit will open things up. It's just a waiting game for Faze at this point. Nade holds on to the diffuser, but the daunting task of getting on in. Hold on!
Oh, man.
He's made this winnable. Souls is hiding. He'll wait for the call. Halfway through, Dez. Halfway through. He makes it work. And now a standoff. As 1 bullet fired from that Alda will give tons of information to Nade, but his position now over by the case is known. Default cam is still up. Cannot allow that information to be there.
Told you, man.
Nade thought he was in the other direction, and Souls will mag dump the remainder of the Alda into the corpse.
Against Rin, and Faze obviously go on there to perform spectacularly. It was the closest APAC got to making it into a grand final. But even since then, he is still the guy that you want in those clutch situations. So composed, so skilled. This stage, interestingly, has taken a much more front-leaning role. He's been involved in a lot of entry engagements, for example. But still the guy that I'd love to see when the team is, all the chips are down, and you've really got to have someone that comes up big. I wouldn't want
round. Very limited action. There's been some blows exchanged. Cyber and Herds have taken some damage, but outside of that, it's been all Furia working their way to the site, and now Herds has found an opening.
Nice.
He could actually go for a plant here, but he's not the one with the diffuser. It's Nade to do just that. This line of defense for Faze Clan will be over at backstairs. Herds has to moonwalk his way out of the site. The flames from the Goyo canisters will go. Souls with another kill, and that will give Faze Clan a numbers advantage.
Soul C4 was the big one from below for me. If he'd stayed on his feet, that could have been huge, because as these numbers dwindle for the attackers, you've still got a clash to face off against them. We all know what shields are like. The lower those numbers fall for your side. Sure enough, even now he's squaring up. It doesn't mean that you can block, of course, all these angles being opened up if you want to. It just means that he can give a lot of information over to his side. And now it's in a spot, actually, where the clash is one of the final 2 left standing. This ain't looking so good, given there's 30 seconds on the clock. If there was 10, different conversation. But at this point, Furia have still got all the time in the world to play with, as long as they're careful about this one. Did they see the man? Yes, they do. And they had no idea that Handy was coming for that push. That's exactly what we saw. No way. Gets down and gets Souls up as well. They've solved Vita King out there. He is 4 off it, but the other two may be able to make this work. It's a 2v2 with 10 seconds to go for Leapox has got the diffuser, but look at this angle. Herds is ready, he's locked in, makes it 4, can he make it 5 to get the ace for himself? Yes, he can! We were speaking about how he's found impact despite it feels.
The problem is that he's surrounded by other damn good players, and it makes him shine a little bit less. But make no mistake, he is terrific.
It's also probably a degree of, you know, I mean, here he is again.
It's a scary start for Herds. We just praising him, just praising him. There's more work for him, as now we are on a very unorthodox bomb site, Derry. This is not where teams usually like to play. FaZe Clan suffering through 2 losses. Herds still outside, still has 2 death marks. And he'll now use one of them. Kaida Vidaking will be harassed. Honestly, Herds is more to lose here, but he'll gain some very vital information. There goes the death mark. KDS finished off. This has been, again, another prolonged fight where these teams go back and forth. The advantage, though, decidedly in favor of Furia.
I know where one more is as well here, but they've got to get some kills back if FaZe want to fight their way back in. As said, Souls being up is never a bad thing. He is one of those players, but there's only so much you can do when there's an onslaught coming your way. Fun fact about this site, by the way, played 60 times this year, 37% plant rate. It is an objective-focused site. You wouldn't guess it with what KZ's doing in this round, has found himself 3, but that might open them up to get a plant down here. Souls is above, gets sprayed through the floor by Herds. Who else to close out the round?
Recipe, and now if you want the tartar sauce recipe, you basically just need 1 cup, equal parts mayonnaise. You can use Hellman's if you'd like. And dill pickles. Chop the dill pickles as finely as you want for the tartar sauce, or you can make them a little bit longer if you want a chunkier tartar sauce. That's totally fine.
Isolation play onto players of Furia. What's really making the difference, and it sounds so simplistic, is one team's hitting their shots, one isn't. FaZe are winning some gunfights, but not convincingly enough, and they're not able to stop clutches. I say that. Vidaking has managed to find at least 2. A third coming in. He's got support from behind from Handy. Good bit of team play coming in, and an individual with a shotgun just putting that straight to the chest of 2 Furia players who were a little bit out of sync. Maybe FaZe finally get around here as Vidaking goes on to a 3K. He already had one back in round 5 and might be about to secure another one here. Finally gets put down, but Handy secures his 2nd kill off the back of the attention soak being created by Vidaking, and FaZe get the round.
You can tackle a nitro cell first, then pull out that shotgun. At close range, that shotgun is almost always a guaranteed down, if not an outright kill.
Yep.
And then you've got the SMG-11 with one of the highest fire rates and highest DPS rates in the game that, yeah, can be a little bit hard to control. Nothing has been done to FaZe Clan. A rare soulless sighting. The hands of Cyber, who favors this operator quite a bit. The fire still lingers in front of Herds, who doesn't check the door frame correctly, and Handy will punish him for that.
This has been the slowest entry we've had as well. I'll always like tracking these stats. It gives you an idea of how the game's playing out, but every other one has been quite early on, really, generally in that sort of minute 15 to minute 45 mark. That one came in our last 60 seconds, which means this could be quite an explosive end. More importantly, FaZe have got the opening 2 kills, a good start for them. The problem is, it's so hard for a team to hold on to it in this game, as we've seen time and time again. We've had 5v3s go the other way. Oh, I don't think this one's going the other way, unless we see something magical come out of KZ. FaZe have found their fire again, Parker, though, in 1 round of striking distance.
Cyber cannot be retrieved, or worse yet, if somebody tries to get him up and a double kill is had from Furia, that might be the dagger through the heart of FaZe Clan. And that just might have been it. Souls picked off, but at least Felipox has died. He has been, in terms of impact, the lowest performing player on Furia, but now somebody from them will have to get that diffuser in, and it's the 3 fraggers from Furia to do it. JV92 dying, KZ will fall.
Oh my.
What a situation for Herds to find himself in with 15 seconds to go, and what do you do at this point? He picks off KDS. 10 seconds to find 2 kills. He does have the diffuser. 1 up on the stairs, but it's a hard angle to fight, and Vidaking finishes it off. Wow. Away we go. Say it. Say it, Derry.
Okay. Yeah. I'm actually going to just come dressed up. I don't know what ChatGPT looks like. I'm going to dress up as ChatGPT and turn up to your house one day. And I'm pretty sure you'll be arrested for murder the same day.
I'd love to have you over. I think that'd be a really nice time. Felipox will equalize, by the way, Derry, as we now have a little bit. Can't believe we made that on an official broadcast. Look at this rat position by Handy. A very strong spot for him to be in. If it goes unchecked,
Oh, man.
he can do some damage. They trade out. So neither team is any closer, but they are so slow to follow up. Furia wanting more information before committing to this. Handy finally pulverized from that position inside of gold. And very quickly, Furia will realize that the remaining Faze players are sitting on the site. You've got free reign over the rest of the map. But Nade's got to get that diffuser in, and you have to cross Souls and Cyber first.
You just said his name. Souls is still. Think about the 1v1 earlier. The guy does this for fun. He's the clutch guy. It's like Brede, but in Brazil. Brazilian Brede. Call him that if you really want to. They've got to make this work. And I think with the clock ticking down to 25 seconds at this point, there's just bound to be an error made. When you have no time left, you can't afford to drone everything. You can't afford to check every angle when you're pushing into a room. It's kind of get the diffuser down or lose, or collect kills or lose. You're forced to make a bunch of errors, and they've already stepped into one. Felipex is offline, one's on the deck, and this is what I mean. They're going to have to step forward, and he's on the floor, and they've clutched it out.
Many finals over the. In fact, there are, you know, if you add you and I together, and obviously Nick and Kix and Tim, that we've been in almost all of them for the last like 3 years. Very rarely do we actually get to sit in the crowd and take in a matchup. So it was really nice to be a part of that. Definitely. As purely a spectator.
And here we are, not quite spectators, but spectating from the safety of our homes, watching these two dish it out in overtime. Herds, gotta be that man.
My home is very dangerous, so I mean, I'm not. There's no.
Is it gonna? Oh, you got to
for us, but. This is what I expected between these teams. I mean, when we were halfway through the match, I thought Fury was actually going to walk away with it based on the scoreline. I thought there's no way that FaZe Clan pulls off a perfect rotation after the first. Fury is fighting for their lives. If FaZe Clan loses some of these quote-unquote easier matchups, then their road to making it to the major, while all but certain based on previous success, gets harder.
Oh, no,
Nitro Cell from Souls will take out Herds. That's beautifully played, and now below the breach in Geisha, FaZe Clan will sit. Oh, this could be a dead JV92 if he doesn't head the right way. Handy also hasn't given up control of this room. Excuse me, he's still in there. JV92 knows it, though. Finishes him off. The first kill for Furia. If we've learned anything from these teams, Des, it's another one can follow very quickly, but there is a brief pause as utility work will be done by Furia to narrow down these remaining defenders.
5v3 Faze have been in so many times and given it away. So Fury, this is still possible for them to do. They're getting a good amount of control, and like that, they've balanced things back out. Faze cannot keep giving away 5v3s like this, but this might be the last chance that we have to say that. They lose this one, game is over. KDS, headshot onto JV, beautiful shot. He finds a second as well. He's been quiet this game, but he comes up when you need him most. KDS and Souls see this one over the line.
The 6 games they've played, at least 5 of them have gone to 12 rounds, 4 of them distant into overtime. Here it was an 8-7 victory for them, as Furia just could not make it happen after they lost a bit of that momentum in the back half there, Laxing.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't one single outlier that you can pick from either one of these teams. Everyone across the board on both sides was performing. I mean, the 8-7 really went the distance in terms of both teams' dynamics and fundamentals and how they were playing. And what I specifically said that you didn't get to hear me talk about of Faze, I'm sure Faze was more than comfortable going on the defensive half, just like KDS said, because defense is their strong suit. They've looked the best at it, and obviously this is what pushed them all the way to get the 8-7. But I mean, this was a close game. This really could have went either way. It really came down to who was going to make the first mistake and who was going to capitalize off of it.
Well, we talked about the attacking struggles that Furia had coming into this game, and they did show themselves on that second half when Faze was again locking it down on defense, and Furia was just not able to really take the fight to them enough to close it out in regulation. They had plenty of chances to do it. They just could not close the door on Faze for good. And as a result, as we've said, that puts Furia in a very tough spot going into the final 3 games they're going to be playing.